I intentionally got my coworker, who has autism, fired. So I work in the IT department for company, and I have had a coworker with autism named X. A bit of background, X was a very good worker. He got all of his projects done on time and the quality was amazing. Sure, he wasn't the fastest coder, but he wasn't the slowest at coding either. He was consistently a top performer. However, he did not have very good social skills. He would always share the code with us and work with the rest of us on projects. But, when we had meetings to discuss problems with our projects, X would never bring up any of his errors, he would only assist with ours. This made him look like some whiz, and the managers loved him. But he can't be 100% perfect, right? He also refused to go on any outings with us. Whenever we'd want to watch a game together, go to the bar, or even go out for lunch, X would always back out. For some reason, I got very annoyed at this. I kept thinking, and soon believing, that he felt like he had better things to do than spend time with his coworkers. He only did work, he would not do anything social with us, and he rarely brought up his work problems. I know, this is really stupid. But in my mind, I hated how he refused to communicate with us. Eventually, I grew to really hate X. So I hatched a plan. I sit in the desk right behind X, so it was easy for me to swing around and access his computer. It's a pretty secluded area, so I was easy to be stealthy as well. When I started, I just did small things. As soon as X went to the bathroom or to get something from the vending machine, I would go in and modify his code slightly so that it wouldn't run properly. I'd add a letter or delete a letter so it would be a pretty tedious fix. I don't think X suspected any foul play though, he never mentioned it to anyone. When he'd try to run his final project, it would go haywire and he'd spend a lot of time going back to find his mistake. He was really persistent at solving his own problems, himself. Eventually, I think management stared to notice a decrease in his work and they pulled him aside for a quick meeting. When he returned, he did not look happy, but he did not say anything to any of us. He just sat down and got to work. I tried to ask about the impromptu meeting the managers just had with him, but he just brushed it off. He'd go, "Oh, it was nothing, just more information about the project." Again, I don't know why, but I really despised him for that. A couple of weeks go by, and I continue to slightly harm his code. Then I got a brilliant idea that would reveal he is capable of error to everyone. He had just gotten assigned to a special project and I couldn't resist myself. I waited for a time when he went away from his desk, and I opened his email portal. I sent an altered and incomplete file to the next development team for the final assembly. I then deleted the sent mail from his box and went on with my day. Honestly, I wasn't too familiar with the specifics of what he was working on, but apparently the stuff I altered did some major damage. When the other team tried to run their finished product, it kept crashing and showing numerous errors. This caused some major delays, and when they finally tracked it down to X's code, management was not happy at all. X was given a week and a half to write and prefect his portion, and I sent out the file on day 5. Management came over to our desk area, and X was very confused. They kept asking X why he sent it out so early and why he didn't check anything over. I heard it all, but I just kept my mouth shut and listened in on their conversation. I assumed he'd just get a slap on the wrist, but apparently they decided that his work quality was continuing to fall below standards and that they needed to let him go. Company would not be allowing so many errors. X didn't even get a chance to voice his opinions. Management was so unhappy and terminated him immediately. I could have turned around and told them everything, but I couldn't. I didn't have the courage. I feared that I might lose my job. I know I did a really terrible thing to X, but I couldn't afford to lose my job. I feel terrible. And to add on to it, I later learned that X is autistic. I didn't even know. Apparently he was just really antisocial. He probably didn't harbor any negative thoughts about the rest of us. It was just that social interaction wasn't something he enjoyed. I'm sure he made mistakes, but he was just such a hard worker that he didn't show it at all. He would want to solve problems himself instead of immediately seeking for help like the rest of us. It's too late now, but I really appreciate X and I hate myself so much for causing this. I had an urge to get this off of my chest, but even after typing all of this, I still feel so guilty. I keep thinking about all of the harm I caused X. I might have ruined his life. I didn't want that. I'm thinking of coming clean to management this week. X deserves the job more than anyone else. It's been less than a week since he got fired. They can still take him back if he's willing to come back, right? Thanks for listening to my story, I guess. Edit, I know. This was really stupid of me. I deserve the hate. I understand nothing can undo the damage I caused, but I am going to come clean tomorrow morning and beg management to give X his job back. Update. Anyways, I went into work today and I had a long meeting with the management. I explained everything that happened and all of the bad things that I did. I told them everything. How I changed X's code and emailed a bad file to the other development team. I also begged them to give X his job back. I told them that X really does have a high standard of excellence. I explained how even though X may face a problem, he would work harder by himself to get it right. He is so much more determined and driven than anyone else at the office. Well, they listened to my story and gave X a call. I don't know how badly X was affected by this ordeal, but he was very glad to be invited back. Apparently management didn't truly understand how great of a worker X was either. After I told them about how determined X is, and after getting testimonials from other coworkers, management decided to raise X's salary. When he came in, I had apologized immensely to him and I tried to express how bad I felt. I knew that no apology could repair the damage I did, but I just wanted him to know I was sorry. He might really hate me inside, but he did not show it at all. He ended up forgiving me. I know, I didn't deserve to be forgiven, but this just makes me respect X even more. What I did was terrible and I got what I deserved. I was terminated today, effective immediately. I don't know what I will do now that I am jobless, but at least I have a somewhat cleared conscience, knowing that X is back doing what he is so good at. Hate all you want, but I think I amended some of the damage.